This video provides an overview of basic or commonly used on-site screens and features. This by no means covers all of the available features and options, but we will cover the most important ones. To establish communications, it is recommended to use the serial port. Select the serial COM port desired and leave the wildcard box checked and the baud rate at the default value. Press the pull down arrow next to the port number to scan for the available serial devices. For Ethernet, select TCP and enter the IP address and port number. Then press Read Device button. Throughout the use of OnSite, it is important to remember to always press the Write to Device or Apply button when making changes, otherwise the changes will not take effect. If OnSite displays a message, be sure to read and follow the instructions to help prevent unintended results. When you first read from a device, the screen that will appear is the Properties screen. This screen will show all of the model numbers, serial numbers, and firmware versions of all of the devices that are connected. You will see some status information, and if you are using Opticom GPS at an intersection, you will see the latitude and longitude. We will start out with the View options, which is accessible under the Tools and then Options pull-down menu. By default, Opticom GPS, Opticom IR, and Canoga boxes are all checked. If you deselect a box, you will hide the fields and screens that are specific to those products. For instance, if you are only ever going to use Opticom GPS, you may want to deselect Opticom IR and Canoga, which will then hide the fields and screens that are not used in Opticom GPS. Otherwise, if you ever envision using Opticom IR and or Canoga, you would want to leave those checked. To update firmware, you will need to have the latest Opticom firmware package installed on your computer. Download it from the GTT Customer Portal website and unzip it. Then double-click on the setup.exe to install. The firmware files are then placed on your computer so OnSite can find them. Click on the Update Firmware button. OnSite will show what firmware versions are currently installed in each module, and will compare that with the version in the installed firmware package. If new versions are available, there will be a message stating that. Click on the Start Update button and begin the update process. Do not interrupt device power during the update process. Be sure to check for the presence of the Boot Firmware tab. Click on that, as there will be an update available for the boot firmware if that tab is visible. Next, we will look at the General Configuration section. Be sure to enter the name of the intersection or vehicle in the name field. This is especially important for Opticom GPS intersections, as it is the name that is broadcasted over the air. Also, when you save a configuration file, the name entered here is automatically added to the file name. If you are connecting your device to a network via Ethernet, it will be necessary to enter the unique IP information for the network. The Network Configuration section allows you to enter an IP address, subnet mask, gateway, primary and secondary DNS, and port number. Consult with your IT department or communications device manufacturer to determine the appropriate values to use. Radio channel assignment is a very important phase selector field. It only applies to Opticom GPS intersections, but it is required to enter a value other than the default value, which is 0. If the radio channel is set to 0, it will not broadcast. Enter a radio channel from 1 to 25. Be sure that you use a radio channel that is not already in use by a nearby intersection. By nearby, we mean within about 6 blocks or so. These next phase selector settings, max call time, call delay time, and 2 different call hold times, may be different based on channel and priority level. Many times these settings are also available in the traffic controller itself. However, it is recommended that they be set in the phase selector rather than in the controller. Max call time is the maximum amount of time that a call from the same ID will be honored. Once this value is reached, the phase selector will drop the call to the traffic controller. The default is 360 seconds, and values from 60 seconds to 18 hours are available. Call delay time is the amount of time after a vehicle is detected and in range that the phase selector will delay before it places the call to the controller. This field is hidden by default because it is often not needed. Contact GTT Tech Support if you wish to use it. The default is 0 and values of 0 to 255 are available. Typically, there is a hold time in the controller. Within OnSite, there are 2 unique hold time settings. The first is the off approach hold time, which is the amount of time that a call will continue to be placed after a vehicle has left the approach zone. This value will apply when a vehicle either passes through the intersection or turns off the approach before reaching the intersection. This is a GPS-only function. The default is 6 seconds, and values of 3 to 255 seconds are available. Typically, this value is left at the default. The second is the lost signal hold time, which is the amount of time that a call will be held after communication is lost between the vehicle and the phase selector. The call needs to be started for this setting to take effect. It applies to both IR and GPS. The default is 6 seconds and values of 1 to 255 seconds are available. Typically, this value is left at default and only changed if obstacles like trees, curves, or hills cause intermittent communication. By default, high priority is enabled and low priority is not enabled. There is a checkbox for each channel and priority level. Enable the priority level that you wish to use. For IR applications, low priority is not enabled and the range is set to off. To enable low priority in IR, you will also need to adjust the range for low priority to use it. Refer to the range setting video for these details. The next 2 items will apply to both phase selectors and vehicle units. Once you have all of the parameters programmed into the device, you can save the configuration file for later use and for reference. Click on the Read Device button to verify that you have all the latest settings. Then press the Save icon or select Save from the File menu. The name you entered earlier in the name field will automatically be added to the file along with device model and saved with a .opticom CFG extension. Saving logs is a similar process. Press the Retrieve Log buttons to upload all of the logs in the device, or click on the down arrow next to the Retrieve Logs button to retrieve the 100 most recent logs. Look on the bottom left corner of the screen to see the progress of the upload. If you press the Cancel button, the logs retrieved to that point will be displayed. If the logs in the device are full, it may take some time to upload all of the logs. Once displayed, press the Save icon or select Save from the File menu. The name you entered earlier in the name field will automatically be added to the file along with device model, date, and time, and saved with a .opticon log extension. Finally, when switching from device to device, always press the Attach to New Device button. A video on advanced on-site features and settings is also available. Please feel free to contact GTT Technical Support if you have any questions about the use of OnSite.